respected Junior Coordinator Ma'am, Mrs. Balita Basu, respected CBSE SNTC, Mr. Arvind Chakraborty Sir, and my dear colleagues. Today, I welcome you all on this online platform to discuss about the cybersecurity and ethics that must be followed in a cyberspace. Today, we are living in a world which has gone virtual, which is virtual like never before. It's changing every day. We live in a world which has a strong connection in the virtual and dynamic space. Today, cybersecurity has become an important part in our lives because cyberspace is what we live in now. We live simultaneously in both the worlds, virtually and am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. What is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is a practice of protecting networks, protecting systems, networks, and programs from digital attacks. The attacks that are very much prevalent in today's world. As I talked about cyberspace, cybersecurity is no less away from cyberspace. These cyber attacks are usually aimed at accessing, changing, or destroying sensitive information, extorting money from users, or interrupting normal business processes. Cybersecurity's importance is on its rise in today's world. When we talk about cybersecurity, it is a state or a process of protecting or recovering computer system. Today, it is the need of the hour. Cyber attacks are increasing day by day. Whereas when we talk about cyberspace, it needs a defined medium of cybersecurity. Cybersecurity today is the need of the hour. It is important because it protects all categories of data from theft and damage. This includes sensitive data, personally identifiable information, protected health information, personal information, intellectual property information, data or governmental information. It now also includes the information that is related to the schools and colleges, as the schools have gone virtual today. So all the data is stored in a virtual way in some systems rather than in pen and paper or in registers. It's stored, everything in today's world in schools and colleges also is registered in computer. So it can be hacked. These data can be hacked anytime, anywhere. So in order to protect that, also cybersecurity is necessary. Moving on to the next slide, why is cybersecurity important? Why in today's world we believe that cybersecurity is an important thing for us? Because cybersecurity is important because it protects all categories of data from theft and damage. As I've already explained to you about the personal information and intellectual property, governmental and industrial information system, all these things come under the cybersecurity's platform. It needs to be protected. Cybersecurity's importance is on its rise. Fundamentally, our society is more technologically reliant than ever before. There is no sign that this trend will slow. Without a cybersecurity program, an organization cannot defend itself against data breach campaigns, which makes it an irresistible target for cyber criminals. The way cybersecurity is important, we need to understand that on a daily basis, the cyber attackers are increasing. So cybersecurity needs to be more stronger than ever before. Data leaks are happening every day in every organizations in different organizations in different countries. The first cyber attack was registered by California in 2003. You can understand from 2003 to 2022, the time span, we can understand how much it must have grown. The hackers have grown. The cybersecurity also has grown simultaneously, but the hackers have grown with their own tricks. So cybersecurity is very important for us to understand. It's not just for the cyber hackers to understand. It's for each one of us on the cyberspace. using the cyberspace on a daily basis must be aware of cybersecurity and the ways in which they can protect themselves on a cyberspace. Now, let's just go into the elements of cybersecurity. When we talk about elements of cybersecurity, application security, information security, network security, disaster recovery planning, operational security, end user security are the 6 main important elements of cybersecurity. Each of these elements above represent a different area of your infrastructure, and it's important to protect each one with various tactics. Application security. Application security is about keeping software application impervious to threats, not allowing the threats to come into the system is what application security is made for. While this is a large focus of those companies that develop and sell their application and cloud services, it's also important to businesses. Now, when we talk about application security, it is a process of developing and adding testing security features within the application of the computer to prevent security vulnerabilities against the threats that might happen. We never know when a hacker might hack a system. So a threat that might happen, for that it's a pre-planning. Okay, now to prevent such vulnerability against threats such as unauthorized accesses and modification. Now, why application security is important? It is important because today applications are often available over various networks and connected to cloud. Increasing vulnerability to the system threat and breaches are there. There is increasing pressure and incentive to not only ensure security at the network level, but also within the application themselves. So this is because it is very important. Misconfiguration of security setting is a major reason for cloud account data breaches. People do not customize the security settings often. This is because it becomes easier for the hackers to hack into the system. The main cause of cloud application configuration are lack of awareness of cloud security policies. They don't know about the cloud security policies. Now, lack of adequate control and oversight, use of too many interfaces to govern negligence and site behavior, doing things like putting multi-factor or administration privileges control in place are things that cybersecurity consulting services will do to help strengthen application security to prevent your app from being breached. Application security is an important part of cybersecurity. It is like a first layer. Like we make a building, the building blocks are very much important. Same way, it's like a building block in cybersecurity. Now, let's just come into the second element, that's information security. Now, when we talk about information security covers the protection of company data and the data that you collect from customers, clients, or vendors. When we talk about this can also be talked in context of schools also. The data of a child that is managed, that is being recorded in a school's system, that can also be in the information security. When you hear about data privacy and compliance with privacy regulations, these regulations put basic rules in place of information security. Am I audible, my dear colleagues?
Yes.
So information security is not only about securing information from unauthorized access, it is also about placing it's what the most companies will need to adhere to one of the most information security standards. These standards can have stiff penalties should negligence result in the comprise of personal identifiable information. Cybersecurity companies will look at how you collect, store, and transmit data. They put protection in place to ensure that data are encrypted as needed and protected from being breached. Now, when we talk about this, you must have read, you must have seen there's a message when you message someone on WhatsApp, there's a information on top, end-to-end encryption. So information security does that. It encrypts the data from both ends so that the hackers are not able to hack into your system. Disaster recovery planning. Disaster recovery planning is like a pre-planning into what might happen. Many companies seek out to help the cybersecurity consulting services when it comes to disaster recovery planning. This is the key to your business from being one of that 60% that folds after falling victim to a cyber attack. So this is a pre-planning that if something wrong goes, this pre-planning will help them recover their data. Disaster recovery protection includes two important components: strategies for preventing a breach or malware infection, preparation for fast recovery should you fall victim to an attack. So this helps an organization or a school or a college, as today everyone is storing their data in computers. So it helps today everyone to keep their data safe. Some of the things that a cybersecurity consultant will put you in place are backups and recovery system, incident response drill, and strong endpoint protection. Now, when we talk about backup and recovery, disaster recovery planning does this too. It gives a space for the recovery of lost data during a breach. Network security. This is one of the elements of cybersecurity, which involves in protecting your physical network and all the devices connected to it. Most companies use firewall to monitor incoming and outgoing traffic for threat. Focus on this. Most companies use firewall to monitor incoming and outgoing traffic for threats. This is very important. Firewall is very important to protect the data. This acts as a barrier between the hacker and the data. This is a form of network security. Securing your wireless network and ensuring any remote connection happens through encrypted methods are also ways of cybersecurity services ensure network security. You can think of network security as a sentry. We can think of network security as a sentry. Sentry means a gatekeeper at a castle who only allows the people who are known to it to enter the premises of the castle. Same way, you can think of the network security as a sentry that stands to watch at the outer perimeter of a castle. It is designed to ensure that only authorized users gain access to the network and that no suspicious behavior are happening inside the network that would indicate a breach. So network security is another important layer in cybersecurity. It prevents the attackers to enter from different ways into the system. End user security. This is another one which is known as endpoint security. This is about protecting the device that users work with and uses themselves. End user security is vital because 91% of cyber attacks begin with phishing email. Some of the common end user protection that you should have are keeping your device updated. When you keep your device updated, the security policies and all the other policies gets updated. If you don't update your device, these policies, you lag behind with those policies. So when you keep it updated, it makes it half the work is done by updating your device. We must have seen time and again we get a notification, update your WhatsApp, update your YouTube. So that update is also updating the security policies. Managed antivirus and anti-malware. This is very important. DNS filtering to block malicious website. It filters the malicious websites to hack into your system. Firmware layer. Passcode protection, screen logs, remote management and device detection. This is also a part of end user security. If you are not using end user security, there are some things which you may address. You can easily suffer a breach through an unprotected employee device that gets infected with malware and then spread that infection throughout the company network. Now, this is like we have already witnessed how coronavirus infected the world at a in the flick of a button it had infected. Same way it happens with end user security. If it is not there, the virus, if it enters into your system, it infects the whole system, just like coronavirus had infected the whole world. Another important piece of end user security beyond device protection is employee security awareness training. Employees need to be trained regularly how to detect phishing emails, password security, how to handle sensitive data, and other important cyber hygiene basics. Now, when we talk about this, we need to understand that the way cyberspace is growing, a person needs to know about the cyber security. We cannot be away from cybersecurity and say that we are working on cyberspace. We need to understand the pros and cons of cyberspace. When we are educated enough about different things related to cybersecurity, then only we can protect ourselves and our data from being hacked. Now, operation security. Operation security involves taking a step back and looking at the entire security system as a whole. The application security, information security, end user security, all these as a whole is is taken care of under operational security. It is ensuring that all security tactics are working in unison throughout your operations and that none are in conflict with one another. When we talk about this, we need to be very much appropriate with the fact that there must not be conflict within the operation system. When providing operation security consultation, what planners do is they think according to the attacker. They think how the attacker might attack a system. They think of all the various ways through which they can attack a system. They'll probe at the different areas of your technology environment to see where a potential breach could occur. So in order to understand that, they have to think like a smart, ethical hacker or an unethical attacker. Operational security is like an umbrella. It covers all the other security systems. It is like an umbrella. It encompasses all your IT security. It's like a cover. It gives you finest and the most outer layer in the system. IT security process. It ensures that the operation as a whole is not only securing all areas of a potential breach, but also regularly updating its security strategies to keep up with the latest threats and security advances.
What is era has opened up a lot of opportunities for everyone, especially business and enterprises. From mobile banking to online shopping to reading news and books. Everything is just one click away. But it has been rightly said that everything comes at a price. The more you connect your digital assets, the higher the risk of security vulnerabilities for your sensitive and confidential data. Now the question arises, how are companies securing this critical data and combating these threats? The answer is cybersecurity. So, what is cybersecurity? Technically, cybersecurity is the body of technology, processes, and practices designed to protect networks, computers, programs, and data from attack, damage, or unauthorized access or misuse of authorized assets. The goal of cybersecurity is to reduce the risk of cyber attacks and protect organizations and individuals from the intentional and unintentional exploitation of security weaknesses in systems, networks, and technology. You love the product on Amazon and plan to buy it. On your way to checkout, you are given options to pay through your debit or credit card or UPI. With millions of users sharing such sensitive information over the platform, ever wondered how Amazon tries to secure this information? How do Facebook and Google also manage to secure confidential information of its millions of users? Well, from renewed privacy policies to security-focused patents to use of AI for data security, each company is expanding its focus on data protection to encourage user trust. With With the increasing advancements in the digital world, cybersecurity threats will keep getting more complex as hackers learn to adapt to security strategies. This will increase the widespread requirement of cybersecurity by companies that will be paying more than ever to land highly skilled cybersecurity professionals in order to secure their vulnerable assets from cyber attacks. So, what are you waiting for? Pull up this.
Now, after understanding this, we need to understand that there are types of cyber attacks that happen throughout the world, which can be classified into 2 points. The first one is web-based attack. The second one is system-based attack. A cyber attack is an exploitation of computer system and networks. It uses malicious codes to alter computer's code, logics, or data and lead to cybercrime, such as information and identity theft. Cyber attackers or the cyber hackers in today's world are attacking systems throughout the world. There's a group of attackers called Anonymous. They hack the system from anywhere of the world and they do not leave a trace of themselves. They attack different organizations, they take away their data, they post it on different websites and they don't leave a trace of it also, that who is doing it. Cyber attack has such destroy many things in the flick of a button. A cyber attack is therefore an exploitation of computer system and network. Cyber attacks can be classified as explained before, web-based attacks and system-based attacks. Web-based attacks. When we talk about web-based attacks, these are the attacks which occur on a website or a web application. Some of the web-based attacks are injection attack, session hijacking, phishing, brute force, denial of services, dictionary attack, URL interpretation, file inclusion attack, man-in-the-middle attack. Now, what is an injection attack? It is an attack in which some data will be injected into a web application to manipulate the application and fetch the required information. So it is done by injecting information into the web application through different ways, and with that way it is used to manipulate the application and fetch the required information out of it. Second one is session hijacking. It is a security attack on a user's session over a protected network. Web application create cookies to store the state in user sessions. Now, we all know that a part of our browsed data is stored in the cookies. So what the session hijacking, the hackers do is they create cookies and they try to steal away the data from that particular application, phone or computer. By stealing these cookies, an attacker can have access to all the user's data. Phishing is a type of attack which attempts to steal sensitive information like user login, credentials, credit card number. It occurs when an attacker is masquerading as a trustworthy entity in an electronic communication. For example, we all order clothes from Mintra or Ajio. These are the sites from which online shoppings are done. In it, there's a section where you need to add your credit card details while paying with your credit card. So when this details are added with the process of phishing, an attacker can take away those details from your phone. Brute force. It is a type of attack which uses a trial and error method. This attack generates a large number of guesses and validates them to obtain actual data like users, password, and personal identification number. Like you must have seen, there are many applications when you download them, they ask for permissions. They ask for different permissions, and when a person is in need of that app, in hurry, the person gives away the permission. So in that flow, we do not know to hack into our system. This attack may be used by criminals to create encrypted data or by security analysts to test an organization's network security. Now, when we talk about this, we can also I can also explain you that YouTube links are often shared on WhatsApp. Today, hackers are sharing YouTube links in the form of hacking links on WhatsApp. Never click into a YouTube link which is not showing you a full YouTube spelling of full YouTube is not written in that link. Do not click on that link. If it is YachtTube or YouTube, if the spelling is slightly different from what it should be of YouTube, then you must understand that the link is for hacking into your system. Denial of services. It is an attack which is meant to make server or network resource unavailable to the users. It accomplishes this by flooding the target with traffic or sending its information that triggers a crash. It uses the single system and single internet connection to attack a server. This is generally done in a particular cyber cafe or in the computers in a school. It can be done to those computers also. Dictionary attacks. This is a type of attack stored. This type of attack stored the list of commonly used passwords and validate them to get original password. So with the list of commonly used passwords, the attacker can finally identify what the password might be. So this is a type of dictionary attack. URL interpretation. This is a type of attack where we can change the certain parts of URL and one can make a web server to deliver web page for which he is not authorized to the browse. This way also, by sending a URL, also a system can be hacked. File inclusion attacks. It is a type of attack that allows attackers to access unauthorized and essential files which are available on the web server or to execute malicious files on the web servers by making use of include functionality. File inclusion are sent in the form of PDFs generally to hack into your system. Never open an unauthorized file. That might hack your system, that might hack the information in your system. Man in the middle. It is a type of attack which allows an attacker to interpret the connection between the client and the server and act as a bridge between them. Due to this, an attacker will be able to read, insert, and modify the data in the intercepted connection. Man in the middle can also be taken as the web WhatsApp browser. If a person takes your link and link his or her device with your WhatsApp, the person can read your messages from web WhatsApp. So the person can act as a man in the middle and attack into your privacy. System-based. Now I had explained to you about the two types of attack. One was this web-based. The second one is system-based. System-based attacks in the system, directly into the system. These are the attacks which are intended to compromise a computer or a computer network. Some of the important system-based attacks are virus, worms, Trojan horse, backdoors, bots. Now, viruses. It is a type of malicious software program that spreads throughout the computer files without the knowledge of the user. Now, when we talk about this, we need to understand, we can just connect it with the coronavirus, that like it had hit the world so bad, it had infected the world so bad. Same way, a virus in a computer hits the computer system in a tremendous way. It is a self-replicating malicious computer program that replicates by inserting copies of itself into the other computer programs when executed. It can also execute instructions that cause harm to the system. It will keep on harming all the other files in the system. Such is the work of virus. Worms. It is a type of malware whose primary function is to replicate itself to spread in uninfected computers. To spread in uninfected computers which are not infected, which are protected by the antiviruses. It is basically hacking into those systems. It works same as the computer virus. Worms often originate from email attachments. They can be sent into a system through email attachments that appear to be from a trusted sender. You might think that the sender is a trustworthy sender. You might, without thinking, you might just click into the button, click into the file and open it. But unknowingly, you are introducing a worm into your system. So in order to understand this, we need to understand, before we understand worms clearly, we need to understand that while working on a cyberspace, we need to keep our cyber security up to the mark. Trojan horse, it is a malicious program that occurs unexpected changes to computer settings and unusual activities occur, and it makes the computer run faster. Even when the computer should be idle, it misleads the user to its true intent. It appears to be normal application, but when opened, executed, some malicious code will run in its background. It makes the computer run on its, some of the operation in the computer will run on its own. When this is introduced into your system. Backdoors. It is a method that bypasses the normal authentication process. A developer may create a backdoor so that an application or an operating system can access for troubleshooting or other purposes. Last one is a bot. A bot, short form of robot, is an automated process that interacts with other network services. Some bot programs run automatically, while others only execute commands when they receive specific inputs. So bots are introduced generally into the system by the hackers. When they give them command, their command, then only the bots work. Common examples of bot program are the crawlers, chatroom bots, and malicious bots that introduce virus and worms into the system. Now, as we have understood about the two types of hackers, two types of hackings, now let's just come into the 7 layers of cybersecurity. The 7 layers of cybersecurity, as you all can see, are missions critical assets. The first one is missions critical asset. This is the data you need to protect. This is the first layer in cybersecurity. This is the data in every organization, schools or colleges, in multinational companies. They need to protect their data. So the first layer is mission critical assets. From the word assets, you can understand that it's the most important part to protect. After that, there is a data security. Data security controls, protects the storage and transfers the data. It controls and protects and transfers the data. The second layer. The third layer is application security. Application security protects application to an application and application's access to your mission's critical assets and the internal security of your application. So the process of transfer and registering of different applications into your system is done in this layer of cybersecurity. Then there is endpoint security. Endpoint security controls, protect the connection between device and the network. Device and the network, the channel between that also need to be protected. Hackers are everywhere around the world. So the next one is network security. Network security controls, protects an organization's network and prevents unauthorized access of the network into the system. So no wonder its name is network security. It doesn't allow the unauthorized access of other networks into the system. Perimeter security controls, it includes the both physical and digital security methodology that protects the business or the school or the college data in an overall way. The human layer. The last is the human layer of cybersecurity, which is the weakest link in cybersecurity posture. Human security controls including phishing simulation, access management control that protect mission security critical assets from wide variety of human threats, including cyber criminals, malicious insiders, or negligent users. It is not just the hackers because of which the data are lost. Data are also lost because of the negligent users of that particular system. So these are the 7 layers of cybersecurity, which tell us that it's not a small thing to understand cybersecurity, but nothing is impossible. As we are working on a cyberspace, we need to be very much vigilant about what we are doing on cyberspace. So in order to be vigilant, we need to take care of cybersecurity plans beforehand so that hacking is not a part of our system. Ethics in cyberspace. When we talk about cybersecurity is a part of cyberspace. But there's a way in which we work in cyberspace. There's a way in which when we are not offline, when we are meeting in person, we meet with certain ways. Same way, when we meet others with certain ways in cyberspace, that also needs to be considered and taken care of. What are talk about ethics? Understanding how your action affects the people, what is right and wrong, knowing the right from the wrong, taking personal responsibility of your action. It is connected to ethics. Ethics is about putting principles into actions. What you're doing is rightful or not. Consistency between what we say and what our actions say is a matter of integrity. It also again comes under the umbrella terms, what we call it as ethics. Ethics is what tell us how we should work, how we should behave on a cyberspace. Like when we meet and greet one another when we meet and greet someone in person, same way we're meeting and greeting through emails, through WhatsApp messages with others. So there's a way in which we must behave. There's a way in which one must behave, and one must know that this is the way to behave and no other way should be accepted. Right from the wrong must be distinguished by the person working on cyberspace. Ethical versus illegal. What is ethical is not necessarily illegal. For example, the issue of a company legal monitoring employees' email is a very controversial issue. Employees have limited protection against employees' electronic surveillance. The law appears to support employees' right to read electronic mails and other electronic documents of their employees. Now, here the distinction of the right and wrong are not clear. Also, the distinction between the illegal and what is unethical is not obvious. Let's just focus on this to understand better. What do you mean by cyber ethics? Cyber ethics is the philosophic study of ethics pertaining to computer network, encompassing users' behavior on a cyberspace. What networked computers are programmed to do and how this affects individuals in society. It is very important to understand how you behave in a cyberspace. Cyber ethics is the ethics applied to the online environment. The way we greet, for example, when we talk about school, when we are the teachers of a school, we need to understand when we go on the online class, we need to greet our students with a lot of good gestures because they are not here offline with us. They are learning what we are teaching online. And not just they are learning, their parents are also listening what we are teaching them. So we need to be more patient, more kinder to them while teaching online. Not just while teaching online, the other way too. But cyber ethics is the ethics applied to the online environment. Why should we be concerned about cyber ethics? Cyber ethics are an important thing in today's changing world. The world today is changing in the flick of a button. You click a button and things happen. A lot of things happen. Anonymous posting to a blog can happen in the flick of a button. Website or social media can encourage bad behavior anytime. If a person is ethically upright, he will never do such things on cyberspace. Information in cyberspace can be accessed globally. One must know what one is posting on social media. social media like Facebook, Instagram, all these information that you are giving out in Instagram, that's going global. It might go global if your account is not private. If it is private, then also if there is a chances of there's a chance of your account getting hacked. What is right and wrong for internet users can do? What is right and wrong for the internet users can do? What are the social impacts of information technologies? So we need to understand that there are a lot of, according to the changing world, people are changing. They are managing change. They are adapting the change. But we need to understand what is right and what is wrong in this cyberspace. We need to differentiate, bifurcate these two things and work with the right one. Understanding cybersecurity, privacy issues, and major negative impacts of IT and cyberspace. So, computer network can be threatened by many internal and external hazards internationally. Internationally, why? Because cyber hackers can sit in Brazil and hack your system. They have that much power. The cyber hackers can sit in anywhere in the world and hack into your system. They have that much power over your system. They have that much knowledge about your system. So in order to give them in order to understand what they are doing, you must understand what is cybersecurity. You must go by the codes of cybersecurity and work with the cyber ethics on a cyberspace. Why cyber ethics? Why cyber ethics is important? Cyber ethics underpins actions that must be taken not only to harness the power of the IT itself, but also to survive its revolution. So it should be the concern for everyone. It is the need of the hour. It is what everyone needs right now. It's what everyone must follow right now, because we are no longer just meeting in person. The world has gone virtual. The world, the organizations, the multinational companies, even the schools right now are virtual. So we need to understand that cybersecurity is the need of the hour. Let us review and discuss some of the cyber ethical concerns. Acceptable user policy violation, disregards for technology and network rules and policies. This could be willful or intended. Privacy, unauthorized duplication or distribution of items such as games, software, DVDs, music, etc. End user license agreement violation. When you purchase a game or CD, you are purchasing license to use to use them. You do not own them, so it can be violated. Plagiarism, using another person's ideas, words, images, or original work as your own words without acknowledging the source. This is what is prevalent in today's world. In today's world, people are using plagiarism in theses, in different books, in different quotes, in different places. They're using plagiarism. When a person these are the matters of concern. When a person is not ethically performing on a cyberspace, plagiarism happens. Cyberbullying happens. Cyberbullying is when a child or a teen is tormented on a cyberspace, threatened, harassed, humiliated, embarrassed, or otherwise targeted by another child or teen using the internet, interactive or digital technology or cell phone. This is what is, we have seen many cases of these children being threatened and humiliated with cyberbullying. Cyber libel, deliberate misinterpretation of people or events, false statement that harm another person's reputation. Generally, we see there are false statements posted on social media like Facebook and different social media spaces. So that they give a false interpretation of another person's reputation. Violating privacy, willfully using another person's password to access his or her email or document online, distributing private information about another. So this is when we talk about ethical behavior. Violating privacy doesn't come under ethical behavior. Cyber stalking is another thing. The use of internet, email, or another electronic communication device to stalk another person is called stalking, it's often called stalking, but it is actually cyber stalking. Illegal information on internet. You all can see the data on the screen, which is showing the illegal information on internet. Fraudulent information is 79.5%. Throughout the world, this is the data telling you about the world's coverage, showing the world's coverage. Violation of privacy is done 71.3%. False rumors are spread 59.3%. Obsolescence of information 59%. Libel information, misinterpretation of information 52.2%. 48.5% civil right violation. Gambling information 10%. So when we talk about ethics, ethics are an important, they are the stepping stones while stepping into the cyberspace. If you want to work in cyberspace, if you want to be a part of today's changing world, one must not forget the cyber ethics. Ethics are not just required in the general world, it's also required in the online world. The rules of ethical cyber activity: do not break into someone else's computer. Do not break into someone else's computer. That is the first and foremost point one must notice. That's the ethical behavior. That is the ethical behavior in the cyberspace. Do not attempt to infect or in any way try to make someone else's computer unusable. Do not insert viruses or worms into it and make it unusable. Do not share personal information too easily. You get information, get spaces like Facebook and Instagram. They ask you about your name, your password, your age, your details, your birthday, your birth year. Do not share your personal information too easily on cyberspace. That's not required. Do use the internet to expand your social and business network, but don't hamper others in doing so. While expanding, what happens is, in today's world, some people try to expand their own business and they try to demean others' businesses so that their own can grow. So this way, it should not happen. Like in today's world, we can also use internet like Instagram or Facebook to expand what we are doing within a school, what activities we are doing, how we are nurturing a child within a school. But that should not be to show how others are not doing properly according to us. Cybersecurity and ethics are important in today's world. Cybersecurity means protecting the data, network, program, and other information from unauthorized or unattended accesses. Whereas when we talk about cyber ethics, they are an important part of a human behavior while working on cyberspace. It is very important for us to know that the new changing world of information society with global network and cyberspace will inevitably generate. We need to be ready with the pre-planning to save our system. Basic issues have been solved partially using technology approaches and legal laws in cyberspace. So cyber security is important because cyberspace is not going away. Today, the world is changing. We are in the era of rapid transition where we no doubt require cyberspace to work, grow, and flourish. Cybersecurity is important not only because it helps to secure information, but also our system. It helps our system from keeping them away from virus attacks and different things. After USA and China, India has the highest number of internet users. So it becomes our responsibility to understand, educate ourselves about cybersecurity and be eligible to understand and be known to the cyber ethics and work accordingly. Guidelines and strategies should be implemented so that the global information can be exploited in socially and ethically sensitive way for our future benefits and application. With the growing world, the world is growing every day. It's changing. It's the era of transition. So with this world of transition, we must understand that cybersecurity, along with cyber ethics, is an important part of our life and also the need of the hour. Thank you. With this, I end my presentation. A Google form will be sent.
Thank you, ma'am. It was very knowledgeable session. Thank you.
Very nice presentation, Shania.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Geeta ma'am. Thank you, Moshmi ma'am. Thank you, Neeta ma'am. Thank you, Arun sir. Thank you, Archana ma'am. Thank you, Teron sir.